Hiya and welcome to another episode of Unleashed. Felt I needed to make this video because it involves my football club, Aston Villa. It is the morning of the game against Macabbi Tel Aviv, or Macabbi Tel Aviv, the Israeli team that had their away fans banned from the Aston Villa ground. So it will be played just in front of Aston Villa fans. Now I wanted to make a few things clear here because there seems to be some sort of nonsense going around that it was the club's decision. It most certainly was not. What actually happened was that a Muslim councillor or MP that is in Aston put out a petition to the Muslim community saying they wanted this game banned, and loads of people signed it, I guess. And then the West Midlands police bottled it because basically they said the West Midlands police can't police the game because they wouldn't be able to guarantee the safety of the Macabbi Tel Aviv supporters, which is disgusting for a start. So, well, no away fans should ever go to any game then, though, because they seemingly have a hooligan element. Well, most clubs do. Now, this was spun to say they were banned because of what happened in Ajax in the Netherlands, where there was a lot of trouble. But I'd suggest you go and have a little fact check of that, because it wasn't the Macabbi Tel Aviv, or is it the Macabbi Tel Aviv? Sorry, I get that bloody name on. It wasn't their fans that actually started all the trouble. There was obviously some niggle and stuff, but after the game, the Tel Aviv fans were targeted by moped gangs and all Muslims attacking them, and that's where all the trouble came from. I am not for one moment suggesting that the fans of Tel Aviv are Snow White or anything like that. But that's the narrative they've tried to put. Our good Prime Minister, he came out and said it was the wrong decision by West Midlands Police. And I'm sick to death of all the people online saying you should be ashamed to be an Aston Villa fan. Aston Villa could not play the game because West Midlands Police would not sign off on it, would not police it, and therefore Aston Villa couldn't get their safety certificate to host the game. The only way they could get that is if there was no away fans. So that's what actually happened. So the Muslims got their way, or the Muslim community got their way, and the Tel Aviv fans were indeed banned from attending the game in the Europa League tonight. That in itself is absolutely a terrible precedent. That is a terrible precedent. But guess what? There's still going to be trouble tonight, because the Muslim lot have said they're going to protest anyway. They're having people from all around the country come, apparently, to be outside Aston Villa's ground, and, well, we'll see what happens. Remembering that the police said they couldn't police the game because they couldn't guarantee the safety of the Tel Aviv fans, 700 police, extra police, have been drafted in tonight. Schools in the area are closing early because the Muslims are going to kick off, allegedly. That's what's forecast. And I wanted to make this video this morning just to see what happens so I can react to it a little later on and see if there is any trouble. I hope there's not, but I think this is a pivotal day, to be quite honest. To allow sectarian politics to affect football is diabolical. Personally, if I'd been on the board of Aston Villa, I would have said the game should be played behind closed doors or played in a neutral country. But having said that, I would then also have been guilty of pandering to the Muslim community in Aston. So I think the club were damned if they did and damned if they didn't. So I'm going to go off to work now, and I'll catch you later and let's see what happens. Let's hope nothing really happens. But if they've drafted in 700 extra police, there you go. Sectarian Britain. Who knew? Bye. Well, just back for work, or from work, sorry. Dilly dilly. Must be beer o'clock. A little update of what I've been hearing today. When I got to work, first thing I do obviously is open my Mac, because I have to go online, because I do artwork and stuff for one of my clients' shops, online stores. So when I load up my computer the first thing that shows up my homepage when I open up my browser is YouTube. And on that first page I can see 6 videos. 3 of them were about things going off already last night in Birmingham. Those peaceful people firing fireworks at the police and other bits and bobs, seeing some footage. You think, dearie me. So it's not looking good for later on. But I want to ask a question, again, because I've kind of been listening to things that have been going on today. I said earlier about the schools being closed early. Now imagine, just for one moment, if you're not understanding what's going on, imagine if a so-called far-right group of people were holding a protest in Birmingham or wherever, and the schools were having to be shut early because of the fear of riots. That would be all over the mainstream media, wouldn't it? It would be everywhere. Yet the mainstream media, I'll tell you what, it's 3 hours before kick-off, I think. Maybe not quite, I can't remember what time it kicks off, but anyway, it's kicking off already. But it wouldn't surprise me if the match was actually called off last minute, or maybe, an hour before kick-off. We'll see what happens. If you think this isn't coming to a city near you, you're wrong, because this is all about a show of force. They're saying it's done on the basis of Free Palestine and all this nonsense, and they're saying that the Jewish football team are full of IDF people, well, IDF soldiers. Well, for a start, you're conscripted in Israel, so you have to be, you have to be in the Israeli Defence Force. But what they fail to say, and what other people are probably failing to tell you, is that Macabbi Tel Aviv's football players, there's a few Muslims in there, like Arabs, Arabians from that area. There's African Muslims in it, and obviously Israeli Jews in that team. So, yeah. So basically what they're saying is if that team turn up tonight, it will all kick off under the free plasticine nonsense. So that's what I've heard. I've watched a few of the videos now. I just watched Tommy, and he's not going. I'm glad he's not going. There had been suggestions from other people online that he'd been calling for the football firms and that to go up and counter protest. He didn't say that, as far as I can see, and he's not going. As I say, he's called for peace. He's called for the reporters that are going up there, the citizen journalists are going up there to be very careful. Aston Villa fans, be very careful, because we know how this is going to be framed. If it kicks off and the Villa fans are involved in the fighting or whatever, which I guess they would be, wouldn't they, if it all goes off, because they're the ones that are going to be there. I know how the press will frame this. Far-right football thugs attack peaceful Muslim protest. Let's see what happens. Speak to you in a bit. Well, I've been watching some of the live footage. It's only 6:03, so another couple of hours till kick-off. And young Bob has been arrested and given a dispersal order. He was invited in to talk to people, and the police have chucked him away, put him in a meat wagon, and he'll now be fecked out of the city. That's how bad shit is. I told you this would be framed in an incorrect manner, that Free Palestine, all great. People who want to report on it, who have a different opinion, British people, I may say, they're fucked out of it. This is not right, people. This is not right. Anyway, I'll keep watching and see what else happens. Well, it's half time at Villa Park, and Villa are winning 1-0, so that's good. But I'm going to applaud the Villa fans for not getting involved in any of this shit, because there's obviously a lot of antagonisation was going on, but nowhere near as bad that has been forecast. So I've learnt a lesson tonight as well. So, and I always say on these vlogs when I think, perhaps I've been duped a little bit as well. I don't know what's going to happen later on tonight, so I can't forecast that. But before the game and that, obviously you had the hate marchers and they were spewing all their shit. But the Villa fans didn't bite, which is good because it has no place in football. The ground is half empty, so I'm going to just show you a quick picture here. Now, Villa Park is always packed. Pretty much every game It's absolutely packed. So I'm guessing a lot of it, Villa fans were intimidated by what was going on tonight. But I'm going to say something that really irritates me. Auditors, all these citizen journalists. Now, there are a few citizen journalists that I absolutely love. Macabbi being one, young Bob, I don't watch him that much, but I do. A few others, but there's a lot of the auditors there tonight that just seem to be there to antagonise and stir up shit and force a false narrative. My own feelings, again, it's only half time. I don't know what's going to go on later on tonight, and if something does go on after this, then I will come back, because I don't know what's going to go on. But it went off fairly peacefully, I think, because apparently there was 1,000 police officers there. I think perhaps the protesters thought better of it and will wait until there aren't so many police there. That's my personal feeling. Again, I hope nothing happens. I hope it goes off peacefully. But as I said, there's a lesson to be learned. Although I absolutely despise Islam, and I do, I'm quite happy to say this is not Islamophobia. This is just, I believe that the UK is a Christian country, and it's as simple as that. And Muslims are very violent or very fierce in their beliefs. And, well, if you watch my channel and my other channels, you'll understand what I'm saying. And you're all entitled to your own opinion, so you don't have to agree with me. But yeah, the auditors that went there looking for trouble, and shame on you, really. And Tommy as well, mate. You should have kept your mouth shut on this one. Now, I'm, again, people who follow this channel know that I like Tommy Robinson. But, mate, you should have just kept your mouth shut and let them hang themselves. Yes, of course, be concerned. Yes, it's still disgusting. I still think it's terrible that my club and supporters of my club have felt that they can't turn up to the match tonight because of a certain segment of society that says that Birmingham is theirs. So I'll leave it at that for now. That's my thoughts at the moment. Not sure if anything else will happen. I hope not. As I say, I truly hope not. I'm glad that it seems... Well, I'm glad the Villa fans didn't do anything. And the police presence, I think, wasn't a bad idea. So I still don't understand why the Tel Aviv fans couldn't have come, because they could have still put that same amount of police at the game and allowed those fans to come in. This is sectarian football, and that's my point. Anyway, we'll see what happens later on. If anything interesting comes along, I'll talk to you in a bit, and I'll round it up in the morning anyway. Bye. This is England, everybody. This is fucking England. Deary me. Good morning, everybody, and it's the morning after the night before. I give my closing thoughts on everything that went off last night. Now, first of all, I've been catching up on some more of the footage, because last night I could only watch one stream at a time. I haven't got Amazing. I've only got two screens. I wanted to watch Villa on one screen and what was going on outside on the other. So, and it seemed to me that most of the auditors had been pushed away from where the main stuff was going off. So I've watched some more footage, and I've actually I'm going to put a link below here so you can get a flavour of what went on if you want to. From someone called Urban Pictures. Again, as I say, link below. Go and watch that. Please watch that. And you'll see some disgusting things, actually, but also some funny things. The funny things, and I know I shouldn't say it's funny, but I think it's funny, is a lot of the home fans outside the Holt end were chanting back at them, singing, "Oh, Tommy, Tommy," stuff like that, and "Rule Britannia, Britain is ours," and all that sort of stuff. Just a bit of banter, but the police... I wanted to praise the police on this, but I can't, because again, if you watch that footage below, you'll see two-tier policing in full force. Villa fans arrested, young Bob arrested, a woman arrested for simply having an Israel flag, and basically, from what I'm understanding, is it was because they were causing the other side stress. Yeah, there you go. So the other funny part, I guess, is all the bravado before this, saying that there's going to be Muslim sects from all over the country coming to that game. Well, that turned out to be a load of bollocks. Thankfully so. As I said, all the way through this, I've said I didn't want to see any trouble. So these hate people couldn't even muster up more than 1,000 people. So, but
I don't have an answer for that.
oh, but again, I don't know whether it's in the footage below, but some of the anger in the plasticine lot, in their faces, shouting Allahu Akbar and all stuff like that, it's not good. That's my opinion on it. So thankfully it all went off okay. The police, you should hang your heads in shame, because we could see which side you were pandering to. My comment about Tommy Earler should have shut his mouth, I agree that he had to come out and say everyone should be safe and not pander to any of this, but he also did say, oh, that lot will all be hooded up and knives and, you know, all that sort of stuff. That turned out to be false. So that's why sometimes you have to be a bit cautious about what you say until it's happened. We know that section of society has previous. But there you go. So thankfully it went off okay to a point. I still think it's disgusting that sectarianism has been brought into football. And the last thing I'd say is all these Free Palestine people, they're all Pakistanis basically, aren't they? Pretty much Pakistani origin. And well, how many Palestinians have Pakistan brought into their country? None of the Muslim countries around that area want the Palestinians. So that should speak volumes. And also, stick your fucking cards up your ass. This is England, okay? This is fucking England. So we have more problems here to deal, you know, more important problems to deal with here. So, yeah, love the country you're in, or fuck off to the country you love. That's my final message, and that's my video, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.